No one enters your life by coincidence. No one reaches out without expecting something in return. Every person without fail wants something from you, your focus, your influence, your effort, your time, or even your downfall. The naive fall into the trap of thinking others act out of pure motives. The wise make the mistake of failing to leverage those motives. Machiavelli taught us this in a world where everyone acts out of self-interest. The only way to avoid being played is to make the first move. Identify what people want from you and turn it into leverage. In the arena of power, those who fail to read others' desires become pawns for those who can. So ask yourself, will you keep being a servant to their agendas? Or will you finally start flipping their interest into your advantage? Let me reveal a truth few dare to speak, yet one that silently shapes everything around you. Everyone is after something. No exceptions. Friends, family, coworkers, lovers, even those who say they care. They're not with you because you're kind. They're there because you serve a function, a shortcut, a stepping stone, a source of value. Pause for a moment. Reflect, what are you giving in your relationships? And more importantly, who's profiting from your efforts without giving back? The critical error is turning a blind eye. Because in the game of power, those unaware of how others see them are always the first to fall. Every man is a tool to someone's end. Read that again. Everyone, including you. People aren't drawn to who you are. They're drawn to what you provide: approval, prestige, access, comfort, opportunity. You are the vehicle, not the destination. Still convince those around you are your friends. Watch how quickly they vanish once you're no longer beneficial. How many only text when they need a favor? How many disappeared when you hit rock bottom? The truth stings, but it liberates. Relationships run on mutual gain. Some are honest about it. Others cover it with charm. Machiavelli put it bluntly, men mourn the death of a father less than the loss of an inheritance. In other words, they remember what you gave them, not how you felt. The strong observe. They plan. They capitalize. The weak, they believe blindly, they give freely, and they get consumed. Ask yourself this: why is this person drawn to? What do they stand to gain? What would it cost them if I vanished tomorrow? Those answers expose your hidden leverage. Every need someone has of you is an invisible debt, and those who master the game always collect. Never give without expectation. Every act of support, every kind gesture, every second of attention should serve as leverage. When you help, expect a return. When you support, foster loyalty. When you give, plan to collect. Because at your core, you're not a gift, you're a calculated investment. That's the law of the powerful. The strong extract. The weak are extracted from. They'll praise you, call you noble, but behind closed doors, they're asking, how much longer can I benefit from this person, and what happens when they no longer serve a purpose? And deep down, you're doing the same. You call it friendship. They call it utility. Have you ever wondered how empires crumbled? Rome, Byzantium, colonial reigns? The root was always the same: trust placed in the wrong hands, alliances that fell apart, interests that no longer aligned. The powerful see this for what it is. Nature gave us the warning: if you battle monsters, be cautious not to become one. But it also whispered something more profound. When you stare too long into the abyss, it starts to stare back. That abyss is human nature, cold, calculated, relentless. It doesn't wait for permission. It takes what it wants and discards what no longer provides value. Consider Alexander the Great. He conquered the known world but met his end in isolation. His own commanders turned against him once his dominance weakened. Their loyalty wasn't to him, it was to what he symbolized: power, prestige, fortune. Now pause. Reflect on your own life. Who are your generals? Who are your allies? And who are your adversaries posing as companions? What do you offer that binds them to you? More critically, what do you actually receive in return? Relationships are transactions like ropes; they can lift or strangle. Handle them with strategy before you're caught in a knot. Naivety is the most silent weapon you'll ever carry. It whispers security while carving into your back. That colleague who flatters your ideas, maybe he's riding your brilliance to look good upstairs. That friend who always calls, maybe she just needs a listener, not a companion. Naivety tricks you into feeling irreplaceable. But reality bites hard. Everyone can be replaced. And the ones who swore they'd never leave are often the first to vanish when you stop meeting their emotional quota. Think of Judas. Yes, that Judas. He dined with Jesus, walked beside him, lived among the trusted few. But when opportunity knocked, he betrayed his leader for silver. Why not? Because that silver held more value than loyalty. How many Judases are in your circle? And more importantly, how many will you recognize before it's too late? Gratitude sounds poetic. It's a noble idea. But in practice, it's as fragile as the interests that sustain it. But let's be real. How often are you genuinely thanked for the things you do? How many times have you extended a hand only for the person you helped to vanish the moment they got what they needed? That's because gratitude is not a constant. It's a fluctuating emotion. It survives only as long as mutual benefit exists. Once the benefit ends, so does the appreciation. Ever heard of Sun Tzu, the strategist behind the art of war? A timeless guide still studied across industries. Sun Tzu believed the key to any victory lies in knowing the battlefield. And when it comes to human connections, the battlefield is built on interests. Control the interests, and you control the game. So stop holding out for gratitude. It's a fantasy. Instead, turn your focus to extraction. Build unspoken agreements. Convert your generosity into leverage. And never underestimate the power of strategic negotiation. Power isn't static, it moves, it bends, and sometimes it overflows like a flood. In the arena of human relationships, control is dictated by who possesses what others desire, who can provide what no one else can. Consider Steve Jobs. He wasn't just an innovator, he was a master of influence. He realized people didn't flock to the iPhone because it was practical. They were buying status, identity, a sense of belonging. And he capitalized on that instinct with surgical precision. Now look inward. What do you offer that others secretly want? How can you shape your interactions to turn your value into influence? Remember, this power is not handed to you. It's seized. And those waiting around for their moment will be left in the shadows forever. In the end, what's left behind are the unasked questions and the uncomfortable truths we avoid. You're the main character in your story, but everyone else is starring in their own, and in most of their scripts, you're not the hero. So be intentional about the role you play. Understand the importance of being needed, because in life's grand theater, the unnecessary fade from view. And now silence. Do you still believe they truly like you? Maybe they do, but likely only while you're still serving a purpose. The moment your value runs dry, ask yourself, will you be ready to face the fallout? Or will you be just another forgotten entry in someone's book of unspoken debts? The decision is yours, but know this: the game never pauses. It moves on with or without you. And maybe, just maybe, you're not as different as you think. Maybe you too are drawing value from the people around you. Maybe you're as entangled in this cycle of quiet transactions as the rest of them. And if that's the case, what does it reveal about you, about all of us? No one walks through this world clean. Not one of us. So stop chasing after purity in places where it never existed and start learning how to play to win. Because in the end, it's survival of the most strategic. Now let's go even deeper past the comfort zone. What really determines someone's value? Is it their kindness, intelligence, charisma? No. Someone's value is determined by how they are perceived, by the utility they provide, by the influence they have on others. You can be gifted beyond belief, but if no one sees it, it doesn't matter. You can be the kindest soul in the room, but if your kindness has no purpose, it's dismissed. The philosopher Schopenhauer once said compassion is the root of morality. But even he admitted that most actions are driven by self-interest. And self-interest, my friend, is the engine behind every interaction we have. So how do you ensure you're not overlooked? How do you turn your value into actual power? First, realize that value is fluid. It changes. Today, you're essential. Tomorrow, you might be irrelevant. Second, cultivate scarcity. If you're easily replaced, you're easily discarded. But if what you offer is rare, your worth multiplies. Third, learn the power of subtle negotiation. You don't need to raise your voice. Calculated silence can be more persuasive than any speech. Let's rewind to ancient Rome. In the Colosseum, gladiators fought to the death to entertain. Their lives hinged on the applause of a crowd that would cheer one moment and forget them the next. In the marketplace, merchants sold exotic goods, spices, silk gems, and understood that their value was tied to rarity. If it's everywhere, it's worthless. If it's scarce, it becomes treasure. And you, the gladiator or the merchant? Are you performing for attention, hoping to please? Or are you the one who decides what enters the market and at what price? This is the reality of human dynamics. It's not written in any rulebook, but it operates with brutal consistency. Learn it or become its victim. Now ask yourself, are you the one being taken advantage of or the one taking advantage? And if you're the former, what's your move? If you're the latter, how far are you prepared to go? At the end of the day, we're all here because someone sees something to gain from us. The decision is yours, pawn or player. Choose wisely. Because in the grand strategy of life, pawns are expendable.